Every Ford dashboard has a little number sitting quietly in the message center, usually somewhere between 0 and 100%, labeled Oil Life. Almost every driver glances at it, sees it is not flashing red yet, and moves on with their day. What almost nobody realizes is that number is not actually measuring how much oil is in the engine. It is calculating an estimate based on driving conditions, and if you never correct how that estimate is built, you can end up trusting a percentage that has nothing to do with what is actually happening under the hood. The trick that changes this, the one that a small circle of longtime Ford technicians actually use on their own vehicles, is learning to work with that oil life monitor the right way instead of blindly trusting the percentage. And it opens the door to a handful of related habits that most drivers have simply never been shown. Let's get into exactly how it works, starting with the misunderstanding at the root of it all, and building through 5 more habits that all connect back to the same underlying idea, which is that your Ford is constantly telling you things, and most of that information just gets ignored because nobody ever explained what it actually means. Trick number 1. Understanding what the oil life monitor is actually measuring. The oil life percentage on your Ford dash is generated by an algorithm that tracks engine temperature, RPM patterns, trip length, and driving conditions over time, then estimates how much useful life is left in the oil based on how hard the engine has actually worked, not on a fixed mileage countdown like older vehicles used. That means 2 identical Ford trucks driven the same number of miles can hit 0% oil life at completely different points, because one spent its miles idling in stop-and-go traffic, while the other cruised steady highway miles the entire time. The mistake most drivers make is treating that percentage like a simple gas gauge, assuming 50% means exactly half the oil's life remains in a linear, predictable way, when the system actually front-loads more aggressively toward the end. Technicians who understand this quietly check their oil condition manually using the dipstick alongside the percentage reading, rather than relying on the number alone, especially on vehicles used for towing, short trips, or extended idling, since those driving patterns degrade oil faster than the algorithm's more general assumptions can perfectly capture. This is not a criticism of the system itself, since it is genuinely more accurate than a fixed mileage interval for most average drivers. It simply is not designed to be the only thing you rely on if your driving falls outside of typical patterns. Owners who tow trailers regularly, spend a lot of time idling for work like plowing or delivery routes, or mostly drive short trips under a few miles at a time, are exactly the kind of drivers where the gap between the estimated percentage and the oil's real condition tends to widen the most, since short trips in particular never let the engine and oil reach a full, sustained operating temperature long enough to burn off condensation and fuel dilution the way a longer highway drive does. Once you understand what that number actually represents, and where its blind spots tend to show up, the next trick shows you how to reset it correctly, so it keeps giving you accurate information going forward instead of compounding a small error every single time the vehicle is serviced. Trick number 2. Resetting the oil life monitor, the right way after a change. Here is where most drivers unknowingly create their own problem. After getting an oil change, whether at a dealership or a quick lube shop, the oil life monitor needs to be manually reset back to 100%. And if that step gets skipped, which happens more often than people assume at high-volume shops, the truck keeps counting down from wherever it left off, potentially warning you for an oil change you already had done. Or worse, silently building inaccurate data into an already degraded baseline. The correct reset procedure varies slightly by model year, but on most modern Ford vehicles, it involves cycling the ignition and using the steering wheel menu to confirm the reset after a service, rather than assuming the shop's system automatically synced with the vehicle's onboard computer. The small percentage of drivers who catch this themselves are the ones who glance at the percentage right after leaving the service bay, and if it is not sitting at 100, they take the 30 seconds needed to reset it manually before ever pulling out of the parking lot. This tiny habit alone prevents a surprising number of unnecessary early oil change appointments down the road, since a monitor that never got reset properly will eventually flag a change well before the oil actually needs one, costing you money on service that was not yet due. It also works the other way, since a monitor that was reset without an actual oil change taking place, which can happen with a paperwork mix-up at a busy shop, will happily count down from 100% on oil that never got changed at all, quietly extending an interval that should have ended weeks earlier. Checking the percentage before you leave the lot closes both of those gaps at once. With the oil life monitor now reading accurately, The next trick shifts to something almost every Ford owner with an automatic transmission benefits from without realizing it. Trick number 3. Letting adaptive transmission learning reset after certain repairs. Modern Ford automatic transmissions, including the 10-speed used across the F-150, Expedition, and Mustang, use adaptive shift learning, meaning the transmission control module gradually adjusts shift firmness and timing based on your specific driving habits over thousands of miles. After certain repairs, a battery disconnect, or installing a replacement transmission control module, that learned behavior resets back to a generic factory baseline, which can make shifts feel noticeably firmer or hesitant for a period afterward. And a lot of drivers mistake this temporary relearning phase for a mechanical problem, sometimes paying for diagnostic checks on a transmission that was never actually broken in the first place. The technicians who know this trick simply drive the vehicle normally through a mix of city and highway conditions for roughly 30 to 100 miles after any event that could have reset the adaptive learning, allowing the module to relearn your patterns naturally rather than panicking at the first firm shift and heading straight to a service counter. Knowing the difference between a genuine transmission issue and a normal relearning period saves both money and unnecessary stress, and it is one of the most common reasons drivers end up at a dealership convinced something has broken when the vehicle is actually functioning exactly as designed. A useful way to tell the two apart is consistency, since a genuine mechanical problem tends to show up the same way every time under the same conditions, while a relearning transmission gradually smooths out over those first several dozen miles, rather than staying stuck at one persistent, unchanging symptom, getting noticeably better week over week rather than staying flat or worsening. Once the transmission has settled back into its learned pattern, the next trick involves a tool most owners already have access to but rarely think to use proactively. Trick number 4. Using the AWD port to catch problems before the dash warns you. Every Ford built in the last 2 decades has an AWD diagnostic port, usually tucked just under the steering column, and while most drivers only think about it after the check engine light comes on, a small number of owners plug in a basic Bluetooth AWD reader periodically just to check for pending codes, meaning issues the computer has noticed but has not yet decided are serious enough to trigger a dashboard warning. Catching a pending code early, something like a developing oxygen sensor issue or a minor misfire, often means addressing a small, inexpensive problem before it escalates into something that damages a more expensive component down the line, like a catalytic converter, absorbing damage from an ignored misfire over thousands of additional miles. This is not about needing an expensive professional scan tool, since basic Bluetooth AWD adapters paired with a free phone app cost relatively little and take less than 5 minutes to check on a Sunday afternoon. And the same adapter works across essentially every Ford model built in the last 20 years, from an Escape to a Super Duty. So it is not a one-time purchase tied to a single vehicle. The habit itself is what makes the difference, not the specific device, since checking periodically rather than only after a warning light appears is what catches problems while they are still cheap to fix, rather than after they have had months to compound into something larger. Many of these apps also let you clear certain minor codes yourself once you have addressed the underlying cause, saving a diagnostic fee for something you already understand and fixed on your own. Once you are ahead of what is happening mechanically under the hood, the next trick protects a component that quietly fails more often from neglect than from actual wear, and one that most drivers never think about until it already needs replacing. Trick number 5. The correct tire rotation pattern for 4-wheel drive and all-wheel drive models. Most drivers know tires should be rotated regularly, but the specific pattern matters more on 4-wheel drive and all-wheel drive Ford models than it does on front-wheel drive cars, and getting it wrong contributes to premature tire wear, along with unnecessary strain on the drivetrain components that split power between the front and rear axles. On these models, Ford specifies a rearward cross pattern in most cases, moving front tires straight back and crossing the rear tires up to the front, rather than the simple front-to-back swap that works fine on a front-wheel drive sedan. Drivetrain components on 4-wheel drive and all-wheel drive systems are calibrated, expecting all 4 tires to wear at roughly the same rate and diameter. And when that assumption breaks down because of an incorrect rotation pattern, the transfer case or all-wheel drive coupling can be put under additional strain, trying to compensate for the mismatched rolling diameters between tires. The drivers who know this trick simply confirm the correct pattern for their specific model in the owner's manual, rather than assuming every shop defaults to the right one, since a surprising number of quick service locations use a single generic rotation pattern for every vehicle regardless of drivetrain layout. And asking the technician directly which pattern they intend to use before the work begins takes only a moment but avoids months of uneven wear afterward. Getting this right extends both tire life and the health of the drivetrain quietly working underneath the vehicle. And it also keeps the vehicle's stability control and anti-lock braking systems working with accurate wheel speed data, since those systems compare rotational speed across all four wheels to detect slippage, and mismatched tire diameters from an incorrect rotation pattern can subtly throw that comparison off over time. That brings us to the final trick, and it is the one every long-term Ford owner eventually wishes they had learned on day one. Because unlike the others, it has nothing to do with driving habits and everything to do with the vehicle simply sitting still. Trick number 6. Protecting the battery and electrical system. During extended parking, modern Fords are loaded with modules constantly drawing small amounts of power even while parked. Things like the keyless entry system, the alarm, and various onboard computers running background checks. And if a vehicle sits unused for more than a couple of weeks, that steady parasitic draw can leave the battery meaningfully weaker than expected, sometimes leading to a no-start situation that feels sudden, but was actually building for days. The technicians who plan ahead for this either use a proper battery tender designed for modern vehicles with sensitive electronics when a Ford is going to sit for an extended period, such as a seasonal vehicle or one left at an airport for a long trip, or they simply start the engine and let it run for 10 to 15 minutes every week or two, rather than letting it sit completely untouched. This single habit prevents one of the most common no-start service calls Ford dealerships see, particularly among owners of second or seasonal vehicles like a truck used mainly in summer for towing a boat, and it costs nothing beyond a small amount of planning ahead. A battery that is repeatedly drained down low and recharged also loses capacity faster over time than one kept topped off, meaning this habit is not just about avoiding an inconvenient morning. It genuinely extends how many years you get out of the battery itself before a replacement becomes necessary. Put all 6 of these together, and you are not just avoiding a single breakdown. You are quietly extending the life of nearly every major system in the vehicle at once. Trick number 7. Reading the vehicle health alerts. Inside the FordPass app. Most Ford owners download the FordPass app once, use it to remote start the vehicle a handful of times, and then forget it has other functions buried inside it entirely. Tucked into that same app is a vehicle health section that pulls diagnostic data directly from the vehicle, including oil life percentage, tire pressure across all 4 wheels, and in many cases, advance notice of certain maintenance items before a dashboard warning light would otherwise trigger. All viewable remotely without needing to be sitting in the driver's seat at all. A small number of owners check this section every week or two out of habit, the same way they might check a weather app, and it lets them catch a slowly dropping tire pressure or a maintenance item on the horizon before it becomes something urgent, sometimes even before leaving the house for a long trip. This costs nothing beyond the few seconds it takes to open an app most owners already have installed on their phone, and it turns a passive tool used only for remote start into an active part of keeping ahead of the vehicle's actual condition. Combined with the other 6 habits, checking this app regularly closes the loop on nearly every early warning sign your Ford is actually capable of giving you before a problem becomes expensive, turning a phone that already sits in your pocket all day into a genuine second set of eyes on the vehicle. The bottom line: none of these 7 tricks require special tools, expensive equipment, or a certification most drivers do not have. Reading the oil life monitor correctly, instead of trusting it blindly, resetting it properly after every service, letting the transmission relearn naturally instead of panicking, checking for pending codes before the dash forces the issue, rotating tires in the pattern actually built for your drivetrain, keeping the battery healthy during extended parking, and checking the vehicle health section already sitting inside an app most owners already have. 7 small habits, each one quietly preventing a bigger and more expensive problem down the road. And together they explain why some Ford owners seem to get years more trouble-free driving out of the exact same vehicle as everyone else, while other owners of the identical model are back in the service bay every few months. None of it requires guesswork or a mechanic's certification, just a willingness to actually read what the vehicle is already trying to tell you. If this changed how you think about that little oil life number on your dash, stick around, because there is one more habit specific to Ford's turbocharged EcoBoost engines that almost nobody outside a dealership service bay has ever been told about.